Good morning and welcome to the podcast. I think you're going to love the guest that we have today, and not just because of the journey that he's going to share with us, but also because of what this company is doing. The name of the company is called SafeSpace, and for those of you following the symbols out there, it's SSGC. And so Scott Boroff is the CEO, publicly traded company. And what I love about this company is that we're not just talking buzzwords of AI and technology, but just the various different verticals that he and his company touch. Everything from healthcare and school systems, and he'll elaborate on that. But just a great high energy guy, and great to catch up again, Scott. And thank you for joining us today.
Well, thank you, Seth. It was great seeing you a couple of weeks ago, and just looking forward to today for sure.
Yeah, it was great to have you at our VStock World headquarters and shake a hand. And it's funny because sometimes you meet somebody and then they become a client, but in our case, you were a client and then we got to meet. So
Yeah.
it was great to catch up. So again, thanks for the time on being here today. Why don't you give everybody just a sort of to start with high level overview of Safe Space, what the company does, things like that.
Yeah, perfect. Well, it started out, Seth, I founded the company as originally as Indie Living, which was short for independent living. So my belief was people are living longer and there's less technology to take care of them. And from day one, AI, my belief was AI could fill the gap. And that was in 2016. And so 2018, we went public via a reverse merger, what they call a reverse triangular merger from my banking days. So that was the easiest way for me to what I call bootstrap to New York City. So gave it all the money I had till I ran out, and then I reverse merged, raised some capital, and here we go. So yeah, we started out with LiDAR technology and radar technology and sensor technology, and I failed so many times you can't count on a stick. But I never quit. So
That's a lesson I want to. That's
learning. I have a PhD.
Yeah, that's a lesson
in
we're going to
learning.
circle back on because so many times people think like, if it doesn't work, I'm just going to give up or it wasn't meant to be. But we'll circle back on that lesson of persistence. But go ahead.
Yeah. So people say, "You still in this business?" So, yeah, it's a tough one, but it's doable. So we roll past to where we are today. We're literally a global AI company. So Safe Space Global is what we call it, and a leader in what they call multimodal AI detection. So we just don't use one avenue; we use multiple avenues to solve problems. And yeah.
Do you have that type of technology background? Sometimes somebody gets into a particular business, they have a light bulb idea in the garage or something like
Yeah.
that, but sometimes, the background is completely different from what you're doing now. So, tell us where you come from.
Yeah. So I came from an investment banking background. So I did not have a AI and a technology background. My background is really taking private companies public, growing the teams, and then and raising capital. So I've raised over $1 billion of capital. So I understand Wall Street's the strengths and weaknesses of it, and understand what to do and what not to do. And in any company, you got to have capital, right? You got to have sales, you got to have capital, and you actually kind of need both. And so my background was capital. So, and that's part of the failure. So when I would go out to try to create a product that I'd never done before, I was having to listen and learn from somebody that was supposed to be an expert in it. And there's a lot of wannabe experts out there, but after millions of dollars, I've got the best team now that I've literally built in my whole career. So I would save the best for last.
And let me ask you this, I'm told from time to time about the Brooklyn accent that I have, and I'm like,
Right.
what accent? You're not
Yeah.
from Brooklyn.
No, no.
Where's that draw from?
Yeah, from Knoxville, Tennessee. So I've lived in Knoxville, worked out in New York, raising capital, and I look fine until I come up there and open my mouth, and it's like, oh, from Texas or Knoxville? Where are you from?
No, I like it. I
Uh,
like it. It's
yeah,
engaging.
yeah.
All right. So you're an investment banker. You're raising money, which we could definitely talk about because I feel like the gift of being able to raise money is totally a full-time job unto itself. But how do you get from investment banker to public company CEO?
Yeah, so again, I got tired of raising capital for other companies. So my first relish into it was oil and gas. And so again, not an expert in oil and gas, but in oil and gas, if you can raise capital, those guys always need capital. And so, and then engineering reserves. So again, you hire the best engineering reserves, you go drill the wells, and those guys need capital. So I became CEO of that company and grew it from a pink sheet, non-reporting to a NASDAQ in a New York, 10 cents to $9, and that was a fun ride there. So
Wow.
after that venture, I was like, all right, now what are we going to do in 2016? And here again, the problem was people are living longer and there's less people to take care of them. And it came from my dad. My dad passed away about 20 years ago, but he said, son, I'm never going to live in a nursing home. You're going to take care of me right here. And I'm like, man, how can we take care of people living longer at home? Hence the original name, independent living, independent living.
Okay.
So we started creating tools like, sensors in your refrigerator. When your milk gets low, it automatically dials Amazon. It gets delivered to you because a lot of seniors can't drive and stuff. And so,
Mm.
but instead we went to the commercial route. So again, originally Healthcare Integrated Technology was the name of the original company. We focused on healthcare only. But as we grew in the last 2 years and our different verticals changed, we grew into education for schools, for school shootings, correctional facilities, for prisons, even transportation. We just signed a contract with the Kansas City Transportation Authority for the FIFA World Soccer Tournament that's coming there next year. And people said, what is transportation? Well, these world soccer tournaments, the biggest thing they have coming in is child trafficking and trafficking. And it's a big deal. And banned riders. So our technology, our biometric facial technology, takes that banned rider list, and we put our cameras on the buses, and it detects them right when they get on. At the next stop, they're being escorted off. And so, yeah, FIFA's coming to 11 cities across the country. So we're aiming to get those other 11 cities underneath our belt as well.
That's amazing. And sort of that's a vertical that I don't know if that would have been the first thing that comes to mind. Just to
Yeah.
give everybody sort of like a better visual of how some of this technology is implemented. Like you had mentioned the prisons. The other day we had a NASDAQ company on that dealt with bracelets for the prison system. Like, how did your technology? Give us two examples. One on the prison side, and one
Okay.
is, let's say, in the school system. Like,
Yeah.
how would that integrate on both sides?
Yeah, so perfect. And a lot of the verticals that we're building, the technology that we're building works across multiple verticals. And so we've just chosen to stay in our lane in about 4 verticals and kind of own that space. So like in the prisons, we literally toured a prison up in Ohio, and you go in, there's about 2,400 prisoners in the prison. There's about there's 62 prisoners to a pod. But when we walked into the main room where these 2 ladies were sitting there looking at all these cameras, they're literally, Seth, having to push a button to let a prisoner in pod A go to pod B. And, the door's open, he gets into pod B, the door's closed behind him, and they're just sitting there like a traffic air control. I don't get stressed at all about anything. And I was stressed because what happens is if they push the wrong button and prisoner A for A pod gets to D pod, there's a gang over there, and he makes it through these pods, he kills them. And they don't care because they're in prison for life anyway. And so it's kind of like a game. It's kind of like a game with those guys. And so our biometric facial recognition can spread out cameras. So again, we're AI first, camera agnostic. So we push our software through their cameras. Now the software has the biometric facial recognition of that prisoner, and it knows where he can and cannot go. And if he's not supposed to be in pod D, he's not getting in pod D. No bracelets to wear, no watches, nothing to wear. It's all ambient. So again, it's doing more with less, kind of like Target. We pay more for less. That's kind of the same theory here. It's better for less. So the cameras work 24/7, 365. Don't complain. Don't ask for raises and all that stuff. For schools, which I'm really passionate about, Seth, my daughter just graduated from University of Tennessee, got her master's in education. She teaches first
Congratulations.
grade. Yeah, and in the big hot spot, which is sad, but it's happening, 366 times last year, is school shootings, right? And what
Yeah.
happens, these schools are spending all this money on these nice cameras, but they're reactive instead of proactive. And so we're all about preventive, we're all about preventive. So in Nashville, which is where one of our corporate offices is, we were literally having a meeting at the corporate office, and a school shooting. All of a sudden, our phones go off. A school shooting just happened, just literally right down the street. And the sad thing about it is, the lady that did the shooting, it was Cornerstone Covenant there here in Nashville, Covenant Schools, and the lady was in the parking lot, Seth, for 16 minutes. And then she's putting on her hat and she had 3 guns and just all this stuff. And so fast forward till now, we just signed a school, we just signed the first contract in our schools with Brentwood Academy, which is like the cream of the cream for Nashville. Like everybody looks up to those guys. The same thing, if the same thing happened there, our technology looks out into the parking lot. Okay, if you can envision this, it looks out in the parking lot. First of all, when she pulls into the parking lot, our license plate recognition would run a test. Oh, this lady's pulling in at 11 o'clock. She doesn't go to this school. She went to this school, but she doesn't go here now. That's your first alert. The second alert, when she's sitting there and getting out of her car, it looks at her face, it looks at her body. It'll give you an approximate 22 to 28-year-old female, red hair, blue coat, jeans, tattoo on the right arm, carrying an AR-15, right? So the moment it sees that and defines the gun, it sends a video clip and a text to the school resource officer, A, locks the school down, B, sends a 911 to the 911 officer, C, and it just kind of starts this process. And we talk about schools, seconds, every second saves lives. So this lady, under this circumstance, that was in the parking lot 15 minutes, she would have never got inside the school to kill 6 people. She killed 3 adults, 3 teachers, and 3 kids. And so
Wow.
that's
Wow.
what's so passionate about what we're doing. And part of our business, we help save lives. And so we're going to be, for every school shooting, we're not going to stop them all, but we're going to save lives. And that's kind of what's so cool about our product.
It makes you make it sound so simple, which of course I'm sure it is not in terms of
Right.
technology. But when you
Yeah.
when you go through each one of those, trigger points, it's like how could every school or institution not have that? Like it's mind-boggling. And
Yeah.
the thing that comes to mind in terms of not necessarily as an investment, but in terms of whenever I think of a new company or new product, new idea, the question is, what's the upside? And here it sounds like like literally this is a global opportunity. I mean, you're talking about one place in Nashville, but forget about every school and every state and but like, you know, multiple
Everywhere.
countries and worldwide, could benefit from this. Is that accurate? I mean, are you guys
That's
looking at other opportunities outside of the US?
We are. We actually have an office in Singapore, in the UK, and India. So India is our office. We're in India, which is where I, found the secret sauce. I've got the best coder literally in the world. So in India, they rank and scale them by their by how smart they are. Like they number them. Like you're number 1,856. You take this test, and it's pretty cool. So our CTO lives in Dallas, but he's ranked number 130. He won't tell you this because he's so humble. He's ranked number 130 out of all the coders in India, which I thought was
Wow.
pretty daggone cool. But his partner, Sashi, is ranked number 12. That's in India, that runs our whole team. So we've got about 50 coders writing code, creating product in India. They said, Scott, we'll write it and you sell it. And then for the first time in the last 6 years or 7 years of running this company, I'm like, this is amazing. So they are really rock stars. They just sold out of their last company that they built from scratch for $1.6 billion, and they don't have to work. Matter of fact, most of our team that's on our team that we've assembled has, when we talk about sales offices, our chief revenue officer, Theo Davies, worked for Oracle, got hired by Google, and he was the head of sales enablement for all of Google Asia. So he's this young little rock star, about 40 years old, and just smart as all get out. So when you hire A players, they bring their A game. So all of a sudden, he set up our worldwide sales. And when I flew over there to meet with him, one of the first few meetings that we had was like, the shipping contractor that owns these cruise ships all over the world, and they want to put them on their cruise ships. And then our next meeting was like, we went to the head, we, flew to India and met with one of the largest insurance companies in India that own nursing homes and assisted care facilities. So they just think big, they think global, they think scale, and it's exciting. But
Wow, that
yeah,
yeah. I
yeah,
mean, I said international, but it looks like you guys are executing on that side
yeah,
already.
yeah.
It's funny. I'm just thinking, like, if they ranked, people by where they fall in their particular industry. I mean, if I was that guy, I'd be walking around with a T-shirt all day long that says "I'm number 12,
Yeah,
I'm
I
number
would tell you.
12."
Yeah,
You
I
know?
would, and I swear he gets embarrassed every time we have an investor meeting.
No, be
Call
proud
the
of that.
team up, and I'm like, hey, he's not going to tell you this, but I'm going to tell you because I've spent
Right.
millions of dollars to find somebody just like him. And
Yeah. I
uh,
just I just have that on my business card. Like, hey, I'm
yeah,
Seth, number 12. End of
yeah,
story.
yeah, I would be too.
Let me go to a connected but different topic. Um, I think it's really important if you can share some insight with us. If I'm not mistaken in terms of the date, in April of 2025, you guys switched your ticker symbol, right? You switched the
Yeah,
name from
yeah,
Healthcare Integrated Technologies, ticker symbol SSGC, and so often, at least the people that I speak to day in day out, they're and I understand the want. They're like, how do we do a direct listing? How do we go onto NASDAQ? How do we go to New York Stock Exchange? But the ability to list directly has changed dramatically over the last couple of years, and people historically have shunned the concept of reverse merger or triangular merger, things like that. But you know what? If you really dig and do the research, some of the greatest companies are results of that exact process. So how did you find that process? Is it something you'd recommend for smaller companies that are trying to just get out of the gate and get public?
yeah. And so, my whole theory about growing companies is you got to have a team, right? So you can have the best product in the world, but if you don't have a team to execute on it, then you still don't have anything, right? So I put a lot of weight behind the team. And if you can combine the great, what I call a world-class team with a product that solves a big problem, then you put both the eggs together, and it works very well. So we have a world class team that has a product that solves a world class problem worldwide, and with that, then you just take and grow it. So uh, we're, as our press releases state, we're on track to uplist to the New York American or Nasdaq.
Okay.
And by doing that, it's just really a series of checking boxes. And so when you start out as a private company, I'm the founder, so it's one shareholder. Well, the New York and NASDAQ requires 400 round lot shareholders. And as of 2 months ago, we got right at 600 round lot shareholders. So we checked that box. They require a market cap of $50 million. And as of yesterday, our market cap is $150 million. They require at least a minimum of $4 million in what they call shareholders' equity. And as of last quarterly filing, we were right at 8 million of shareholders' equity and no debt. So we're sitting here checking boxes, growing the team, growing the product, getting our verticals out. So for me as a founder, we've built the team. We've got about 85 employees, and we're excited because we're our last box to check is the $2 a share box. And like you said, what a lot of people will do is say, "I'll just go ahead and reverse it and uplist next month." I'm like, no, it's a long game for me. Like as a banker, I did that many, many, many times in the past, and for every 10 that I did, maybe one or two worked out for me,
Right.
for what
Right.
I've seen. So I'm like, I like it the old-fashioned way, man. I just like grinding it out and getting sales and getting revenue and adding shareholder base, and when you just add it, do it the hard way, then it's long results turn out good. So
It's funny in today's day and age, the concept of sales, what sales revenue? What are you talking about? What does that mean?
exactly, yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
it's funny though, to your credit, and I think a lot of the listeners will appreciate this, is that, I speak to hundreds of CEOs of, publicly traded companies, and, credit to them.
yeah,
These are CEOs that know their business, but they know nothing about capital markets. Like,
right,
what's a 10Q? What's a 10K? What's a DWAC?
yeah, yeah,
What's a restricted share and those guys figure it out, and a great
yeah,
again, credit to them. But like, in my mind, just hearing your background with investment
Yeah.
banking and working with other public companies and exits, like you're so far ahead of the game in terms of
Yeah.
being able to really offer value because all this stuff is like second nature for you. Um, it's
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to doing what you do best, right? So for me, I love raising capital. I love sales. I love meeting people. I love talking to people. I love, the next step is uplisting and then doing road shows. And then, we're acting, they say, a lot of pink sheet companies in my mind, do not play like pro athletes, right? So our team, our whole culture is not a family culture. It's a business culture. It's a team. It's a football team, right? And we get up and we go to work. We don't whine. We don't complain. We just get the job done, and we don't micromanage. And we hire A players that bring their A game. And with that being said, uh, that's what makes it fun. So now that I don't have, as a founder, you have to do everything, right? You got to take the trash out. You got to sweep. We still do that, but now we have people in their slots that do exactly what they love to do every single day. I am not an operator. So like I like to grow it and I like to give the team the tools to do their work and then get out of the way and then stand up here and it's like, all right, because it's like, here's the public side. Like you said, there's a whole division of just running a public company.
right, right,
The only thing we're not doing that we will be doing once we uplist is having our quarterly conference calls. And like you
right.
said, if you've never done that, you've never set all of that up, then it would be new to you. But we've already got all the same people, the same vendors, the same everything, and it's the team.
I love that. I like that distinction. And, some people might agree, disagree, but I think it's an important one to drill down on that difference between like treating a business as like, oh, we're a family and and that's great. And I get that. And you want to be warm and fuzzy and show the love. But, I like that analogy. Like, it's not about family. You've got your family for family. And,
Exactly.
and,
Yeah.
and here we're on a team. And I like that football analogy. And everybody's got to run their plays and execute. And we're not here to, you can feel good, but like we're here to get a job done. I like that. I like that.
Yeah, yeah.
What
Our
and what
guys
do
talk
you
about KPIs and they talk about all that stuff, and it is. We just come off a global summit, which we brought everybody in from around the world, literally to Nashville for 2 days, and just literally trained them on our product. And they have all these different processes and stuff again that I've never done. I'm an investment banker. I raise capital. I go buy companies, merge them, do all this stuff. I've never done what these young rock stars are doing. They're putting systems in place for success. And I told everybody at the end, I said, look to your left and look to your right, because next year that person's not going to be here. Because again, we're creaming, we're trimming the trees every year, and this is a different team. And sure enough, a week later, a guy bailed out. He's like, man, I just can't handle the. This is going to be great. I'm a big shareholder, but man, you guys are going to. I can't do what you're asking me to do. Yeah.
And I think that's a good point. And meaning, it doesn't matter where you're at, but if you have some place that you want to get to and grow, whether it's New York or Nasdaq, you've got to act as if today
Yep.
to be able to get to there. And I even tell that to private companies. Like you want to go public one day, you got to act today as if your books and records and all that stuff. I want to be mindful of your time. So as we wind down, is there any advice that you would give to either companies looking to go public or that are public? Meaning, what is a typical day like? How do you divide that balance between tugging at you for the capital and the public company stuff, and then the other side tugging at you for growing the business, and we've got to do this presentation and this roadshow, and we've got to close this contract at this hospital or senior living facility. How do you balance the two sides?
Yeah, and for me, I do. You've probably heard of the time blocking. So literally, I get up and every day is scheduled and time blocked, and so like the rest of this day is already scheduled, so there's no interruptions, and I have like a block for 2 hours that I don't let anything happen, and that's the catch-all. Like from 2 to 4, I don't exist, but I exist for things like that come up, and so I literally had our controller yesterday. He was just like you could just tell he had this stress on him. I'm like, what's wrong? And he's like, man, I feel like I can't get caught up. I was like, you need to time block, cut your stuff off, quit taking all the varieties of things that are happening. And so I saw him yesterday. He's like, that's working. So again, just like allowing certain times. And now my phone, my wife's been trying to call. She goes, and I said, well, it's on a time block. You can't get through right now. So if you need me, I'll put you on the exception and text or whatever. But I have to get a different phone for her or something. But
That's good advice. That's good advice. Well, as we wrap up, is there anything else that you think either people should know about the company? Anything, within reason that you're able to tell us about something coming up over the near, 3, 6, 9 months?
Yeah, I can just tell you with again, albeit public knowledge, with with us signing up a school vertical with us, we're already in the healthcare vertical with Signature Healthcare. They were our first vertical for healthcare, and again in healthcare, I don't want to leave those guys out. It again with fall detection, right? So it started off with fall detection. People were falling behind closed doors in assisted living facilities and laying there with a broken hip for 3 hours. And in the healthcare facility, the only thing they have is the lanyards or the Wonder Guard, right? So Wonder Guard's a big 800-pound gorilla. So I said, how do we tackle that 800-pound gorilla? Well, again, with our technology, it's ambient. So there's, what does ambient mean? Well, ambient means you don't have to do anything. There's no wearables, no lanyards, no watches. It's biometric facial recognition. And so when they walk into their room and they take their lanyard off that they wear, they don't have to do that with us. If we get our cameras, our software in these systems, if somebody falls, it literally sends an alert and a text and a blurred picture to the doctor, nurse, whoever that second. So no more laying around. And the doctor wants to see what happened. So the doctor can get the video and say, well, they slid down, or they fell down, or they fell backwards over their chair. Like, what happened? And if it's bad, then they send them to the hospital. If it's not, and so we've saving thousands of dollars for the insurance companies with people that when a nurse usually walks in, sees them on the floor, they have to send them to the hospital. Now they don't. That's A. B, you've heard of the silver alerts. So again, the people with dementia, when they get out of a facility because they think they're going to the store because they can't remember, that's a silver alert. And people get out of facilities and die all the time. They get out and get in the car, they get out and walk in the cold, they get lost. Again, with our technology, which is kind of cool, if that person is a fall risk, they're loaded into the system as a fall risk. And if they get near a door that they're not supposed to be at, what happens? We lock the door, which again is a fire safety code, but it's fine because if a fire happens, the door unlocks. But this person gets there. So again, we're keeping people from escaping and getting out and dying. So there's lots of things that we're doing with, and one big one that was unknown is the healthcare nursing home is the second most regulated industry in the country. And so this regional manager that makes like $225,000 a year, he said, Scott, I spend 4 hours, 3 hours every single day investigating complaints. Like, my mom's in room 202 and she didn't get her medicine. So he literally has to watch 8 hours of video, because it's just video, right, running. With our technology, what used to take him 8 hours takes him 8 minutes. So we got this proprietary called SafeSpace SAM, right? So you've heard of ChatGPT, which is a large language model. Our guys have written the small language model for the nursing homes, for schools, and you just type in, where was Seth at from 10 in the morning to 8 at night, and within 8 seconds, it pulls your picture up, diagrams wherever you are. And if they said you're supposed to be in room 202, you can just scroll through that. Well, there he was. He's in room 202, and he's giving Miss Jones her medicine, and here's the type of medicine, because they can read the medicine. So it's
Wow,
really
that's incredible.
saving time, saving lives, it's kind of AI used in the correct way, we believe is going to change the world.
Wow, it sounds like you guys already are.
Yeah.
Leave us with this. If anybody in the audience owns any, nursing homes, assisted living facilities, where can, or just, retail investors, anybody, where can they go? What's the website to learn more information?
Yeah, www.safespaceglobal.ai. SafeSpaceGlobal, all one word, .ai.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, great to catch up.
Yeah.
The story gets better and better every time I hear it, even though I've
Yeah.
heard it before.
I love
And
it.
hopefully we'll break out the champagne, and when you ring the bell,
Yeah.
we'll join you and celebrate together.
Sounds great, buddy. Looking forward to it, Seth.
All right. Thanks for the time.
Bye-bye.